guys, I just had to plug the camera in because the battery was almost dead already. Doing a tag video today. This is the my first time tag. I was tagged by MovieTrollop. And there's a bunch of questions, so I'm just gonna get into it. The first question is, do you still talk to your first love? I would pretty much say Steven is my first love because he's probably gonna watch this, so hi love. I never really was in love before him. Like, I very easily got aggravated with guys, I guess you could say, and nothing ever lasted, so. What was your first alcoholic drink? I want to say it was rum. Something with rum. I know it was right before my 21st birthday. This camera looks crooked. There's like a little pad on the bottom of it, which sucks because when I try to sit it down on the bottle that I usually use, it's just, okay. It was something with rum. I think we had like rum and soda or something. What was your first job? My first job was Walmart and I hated it. What was your first car? My first car was my red Jeep that recently died on me. That's why I have no car right now, because I can't afford a car. It was good, but it caused a lot of adventures, but it also caused me a lot of headaches because there was always something wrong with it. Especially if I drove it a long ways, like going to Boston and stuff for concerts. There was one night after Blink-182 that it was like totally dying on me when me and Ashley were going home, and I lost my power steering and everything, and it's a miracle that we got home that night. Who was the first person to text you today? I actually haven't gotten a text yet today. Who is the first person you thought of this morning? Probably Aiden, because he woke me up. Who was your first grade teacher? Her name was Mrs. Harris, and that's all I really remember. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? I've never been on an airplane. I am super scared. I'm probably going to eventually have to go on one because the rest of Steven's family lives in Florida and he really wants to go visit his mom pretty soon, so. Where was your first sleepover? I think my first one was in kindergarten at my best friend at the time's house. I just lost my spot. Who was the first person you talked to today? I talked to Steven before he went to work this morning, but I was still in bed snoozing. Whose wedding were you in the first time? The first wedding I was ever in, I was the bridesmaid for my best friend. That was 3 years ago in October. What was the first thing you did this morning? I made Aiden a bottle because he woke me up again. What was the first concert you ever went to? I was 15 years old and it was Backstreet Boys. Their Millennium Tour, I think. We had like nosebleed seats, but I still thought it was the best thing ever. And then the next concert after that was Green Day and Blink-182, and that was just like, aww, my two favorite bands. Broken bone. I've only ever broken my toe, so I guess I'll say that. First piercing. The first ones I ever got were my ears pierced, my lobes. But first, like, piercing at a tattoo shop was my industrial, which I should probably take out because the guy did it totally wrong. He didn't even know what I was asking for, which should have been my first warning sign, but like he put a tongue ring sized barbell in there when he pierced it, and because it swells, it was so swollen and killing me. Like the next day I took it out and put a longer one in myself, and then it was fine after that. Do your research before you go get pierced. Foreign country you've gone to. Obviously, I've never been on a plane, I've never been out of the country. First movie you remember seeing. This is a hard one because when I was watching other people's tags, I was like, what is the first movie I remember seeing, like in a movie theater? I think it was Oliver and Company, but I can't be totally sure. When was your first detention? I never had detention. I was a good girl. Who was your first roommate? I never had a roommate. I guess you could call Steven my roommate when we first moved in together, but I lived with my grandma before that, so like I've never had a roommate. You had one wish, what would it be? What does that have to do with firsts? I would wish that my family and friends could be happy and successful for the rest of their lives. That's such like a cliche thing, but it's true. What is something you would learn if you had the chance? I want to learn to play guitar. I've always wanted to learn to play guitar, so. What were the first lessons you ever took? I took violin lessons from like 4th and 5th grade, I think. And I could read music and everything, and I kind of wish I had kept up with that because I can look at music now and have no idea, so that's kind of weird that you lose something like that. Who was the first person beauty related on YouTube you ever watched? I started watching a couple people at the same time, but the first 3 I really remember like subscribing to and everything was Lauren Luke, who's Panacea81, My Eyeshadow is Odd, and X Sparkage. Those were the first 3 that I started watching with subscribing and everything. So that is the my first time tag. So I'm gonna tag everybody who hasn't done it yet, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.